Hey folks, KILT-MAN here, KILT-MAN at your service. Welcome to KILT's Tavern once again. Oh, must have known I was coming. It's a brand new one as well. Yeah, just don't mind me. The sound of that. Blip, 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 blip. There you are. A nice measure there. Folks, how are you all? Hope you're doing well. I'm gonna get this little video done while I've got the chance. Joe, you were asking, you put on a request about doing a top 10 or a top 5 or a top whatever, top banana. Movies, obviously, because cars I know nothing about, you know, so planes I know nothing about, so it's got to be top 10 movies. And of course I said, as I always say when you get asked these sort of things, it's impossible. Excuse me. How do you do like a top 10 when your life revolves around movies and the obsessive collecting of them, the viewing of them, the studying their backgrounds, the growing up with them, the evolution of the movie in your own mind and opinions as you grow older? How do you do that? How do you select any above another one? Your favourites are sort of, you've grown up with them. And I have done this many times, working on different sites before. They've always had to do top 10s, but you know, by and large, it's just, you know, you just throw some titles out there, hope for the best. I know critics, when they get asked for their, well, in a lot of cases, it's top 100 movies, which would be a lot easier for me, to be honest. They literally pour over that sort of thing with all their critical minds and all this, like, and how the film shaped this, that, and the other. But the way I'm going to view this is that, and I think, Joe, you actually may even have said it, which tipped me off, which was a good way of looking at it. Like literally films you can't live without. Not so much desert island movies, but a film that, in my opinion, the world would not be worth living in if that film did not exist in it. So to pick 10 of them, you guys know me, I picked 20. No, I picked the 10, which, yeah, I can't live without them. But there's some close runners up, you know, in another 10. So we'll do them all. We'll do them all. And I'll be honest, a lot. If you watch my videos and you know me, then you won't be surprised by some of the titles here. You definitely won't be. And you know, but they are films that mean an incredible amount to me, and I could not survive. That's a bit of an exaggeration there, but I wouldn't want to be, as I said before, in a world where these films did not exist. So, that's my choice. I'm going to go to a world without them, or a world with them. Well, it's a no-brainer really, isn't it? So, let's begin this little list. See, I've got other things to show you tonight. We've had packages arrive today, and there's some mystery involving them as well. So, fun times ahead. But right, okay. This is in no specific order, but the top 3, or the top 2, sort of exist as one really, but I've done them all separately. Well, big shocker here. The Thing! John Carpenter's The Thing. An absolute masterpiece of a film, pure genius. I've waffled on about it a gazillion times. Pretty much say no more. The Thing is perfection. Will not live without it, ever. If I'm having that, King Kurt and big John Carpenter again. Escape from New York. I mean, Snake, there he is, my all-time favourite hero. Can't live without that. Escape from LA, pile the plop. We all want a third Escape movie. Well, a third Snake movie. He hasn't got to escape from anywhere. Just escape from the shitfest that was Escape from LA. By the way, that's Reanimator. The awesome score. But you will know that Richard Band, who composed for Reanimator and a lot of the Empire Pictures and Full Moon stuff, he was paying a rather cheeky homage to Bernard Herrmann's score for Psycho. There's no mistaking what he's doing there. Got in trouble for it. Some people don't like him for it, but I think his music's great, and I get the joke, I get it, so it's okay by me. So we've had The Thing, Escape from New York. Mad Max 2. Oh, no way on earth could you survive without the high octane adrenaline rush that is Max Rokitansky powerhousing through the wasteland on a fool's errand, a sacrificial, decoy with that truck full of sand, not gasoline. Awesome movie. Some of the best stunts still to this day. The best adrenaline kick you're gonna get. Brilliant. Mad Max Fury Road is Mad Max 2 on super steroids, and it's wonderful, but it's not Mad Max 2. Mad Max 2 is still better. Line money. And I cannot live without it. Jaws. Really? Have I got to explain that one? It's a masterpiece of suspense, thrills, adventure, horror, and it's a superb character piece as well. Those characters are indelible. You feel like you know them. You feel like you've been on board the Orca with them. You feel like you've grown up with Brody, and his fear of the sea. Come on now, it's part of your DNA, Jaws. Don't deny it. Suspiria, the original Suspiria, a film I saw at a very tender age. In fact, not long after it came out. In fact, way too young to understand it. Although you could always argue that you can't understand it anyway. It's not really much of a plot, and it's illogical what happens. But it is a nightmare, a psychedelic, technical and nightmare, the like of which has never been recaptured, not even by its creator Dario Argento, who was a master of visual horror and pounding music and super hyper sensory overload when it came to his horrors, but he never recaptured the splendor of Suspiria. And the remake of Suspiria, as clever, as overly elaborate as it is, I still like it, but it doesn't hold a technical candle to what Dario did back in the 70s, and I adore that movie. As I've often said, Jessica Harper, who plays the heroine Susie Bannion, is an exact dead ringer for my wife, Mrs. KILT-MAN, or at least she was when Mrs. KILT-MAN was younger. She's only in the other room, working. So yeah, Suspiria, it still works its magic today. It's really weird, dark, black magic spell, and I just adore every second of it. Predator! Big Arnie. Arnie's finest moment, as far as I'm concerned. Arnie kicks ass, Arnie runs like fuck, Arnie is actually terrified, and he can lose. He's finally against a worthy opponent that can kick his ass, and it does. It's only by chance that his traps manage to pay off, and he beats the Predator in the end. Very exciting. John McTiernan's action directorial skills are beyond reproach, with Die Hard as well. Absolutely magnificent. Horror, action, suspense, war movie. It's got everything thrown in there. Some of the best killer lines, and it's just pulverising yet good entertainment. Alan Silvestri's score, magnificent. Dawn of the Dead. No, we're talking 78's Dawn of the Dead here. None of your remake stuff here. This is George Romero. Big, gory George with the biggest glasses the world's ever known. And he's about 8 feet tall as well. Sadly, he's now deceased, of course. But, he's the father of zombies. He could be around somewhere still. But Dawn of the Dead, the ultimate apocalyptic survival movie. I grew up with this film. I've met all the 4 main leads. I've met them, and I was so awestruck I couldn't even speak to them. I did describe it in a previous video, but it goes down in the annals of one of the all-time worst meeting the stars that I've ever actually undergone. But Dawn of the Dead, it's an epic, and it tells a great story, and it has such a profound observation on society that even 20-30 years later, it's still so relevant. Hasn't lost any of its edge. It's still a clinical, gory masterpiece. What was I up to? First Blood. The first and the best Rambo movie. Rambo is one of my all-time favourites, of course, you know, and I'm never tired of him. I love Rambo First Blood Part 2. I love Rambo 3 more than the later ones, but I love them all. But First Blood is the one that tells a story that can actually happen. It is realistic. You know, a guy can do the things that you see John Rambo do in that movie. They're not that preposterous at all. The way he takes out the posse pursuing him, it's all special forces cut their teeth on that. Escape and evasion, survival in the wilderness, you know, grit, determination, and then he comes back for his own revenge. And then you get that heart-rending story as well. It packs an emotional wallop as well as the adrenaline rush. Can't go wrong with it. First Blood remains glorious. The Dark Knight. I have a love-hate thing with Christopher Nolan's movies, but his Dark Knight trilogy I adore, and Batman Begins is brilliant. Dark Knight Rises, it's got Bane, so it's awesome for that alone. But the Dark Knight with the Joker, such an intricate, anarchic, fiendishly clever story, brilliantly told. All the I's are dotted, all the T's are crossed, all these little plot pieces all come together. The only slight element which doesn't really pay off as much as it should do, or you'd like it to, is the Harvey Dent saga, which seems a little bit sort of added in there, and you know, but it ties into the entirety of a lot of stuff going on in that sentence. With Dark Knight Rises, it anchors the plot of that, so you know it's essential. But the Joker, the tragedy, it gives me, you know, profound excitement. It also massively pulls the rug from under me and breaks my heart in two watching it. So for a neo-noir action modern day masterpiece, it's got a lot going on in there. You know, love it. I love westerns, can't leave a western out, and the greatest western of all, one of the greatest films of all time as well, The Good, the Bad and the Ugly, Sergio Leone. And who's ringing the phone right now just when I get to number 10? Well, I'm ignoring that no matter who it is. But The Good, the Bad and the Ugly, another epic, so much to choose from there. You can follow each, you know, Tuco is incredible, Eli Wallach is Tuco, Angel Eyes, Lee Van Cleef, and of course Blondie. Hey Blondie, you know what you are, you no good son of a wah, wah, wah. Thunderously epic soundtrack. Ennio Morricone, Leone's direction, the superstar triumvirate of these three, you know, and their odyssey through a dark mythical fairy tale Civil War Old West. Twists, turns, backstabbing, all sorts. It's got everything. A film to take to the grave with you. A grave with a headstone marked unknown. Unka. There's no name on it. You can't spell unknown. Now, that was the top 10. You know as well as I do, I can walk into any room in this house, and because there's films in every single room here, and I can go, oh shit, of course that, you know, oh. And that's why this sort of thing, it kind of, you know, you're not hiding to nothing really, because your top 10 could change, you know, every couple of years or so. You know, a new film comes in there and blows you away. But as I said before, they're films that I would not want to be without, you know, no matter what the circumstances. And the same goes for this 10 as well. This is the top 10 part 2. It's all for fun, isn't it? Isn't it, Joe? Right, okay. The Wolfman, the original Lon Chaney Jr., The Wolfman, 1941. I adore that film. I won't go any further into that because you know how much I've banged on about it. Unusual one now, but one for very personal reasons and reasons that still resonate, you know, hugely with me right now. King Kong, 1976, the Jessica Lange, Jeff Bridges one, with Rick Baker in the ape suit, and the Twin Towers. You know, remember those? John Barry's score. I saw this so many times at the flicks. this to me at the time, when I'd be 8, 9 years old, was the biggest film I'd ever seen, because that celluloid canvas, nothing seemed to surpass the size of that screen. And I've been living in the cinema anyway, but there's something about this movie, the photography, when they arrive on Skull Island, oh my God, and seeing Kong at the wall, the native built wall, I was simply in awe. Now I know the film has many haters, and it's the romantic version of King Kong. There's been many different versions. The best film version is, of course, the original. You can't beat it as much as they try. You cannot beat that original King Kong. I like Peter Jackson's, but it's overblown. It's a massive love letter made by. It's something that I would do if I got a chance to remake Escape from New York, or the film I really want to remake, The Beast Must Die. It would be 19 hours long, and it would be ridiculous, because it's just a personal, it's what you want to see there, not what anyone else does. But original King Kong still stands the test of time as being one of the ultimate milestones of, movie picture invention and imagination, and it's a classic, and I love it to bits. But the one that hits me right in here, and always will do, is that King Kong. John Gillerman and Dino De Laurenti, their version, wins for me. The Sword and the Sorcerer, I've banged on about that a lot as well. Lee Horsley in the Conan sort of movie. Conan with tits and bums and blood and guts and evil warlocks and magicians and heart rippings aplenty, but with its tongue in its cheek and a really devilish sense of humour. Love it to bits. Watch it a lot. Great soundtrack too. Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's got everything. Two-fisted adventure, a great hero in Indiana Jones, a great concept, non-stop cliffhanger excitement throughout. Of the 4 Indiana Jones, soon to be 5 apparently, the first 2 are my favourites. I always flip between Raiders and Temple of Doom. I like Temple of Doom for being darker and nastier, but really I think the most complete one, the one that really nails it all the way through, with humour, with action, with everything, is Raiders. So Raiders is there. Lethal Weapon. There's many people out there who know me that are probably stunned that I didn't put that in the top 10. But the power of Lethal Weapon, and action, comedy, buddy, cop banter, hair trigger excitement, fantastic. Vietnam vet, emotional core, love it. It's got all the things that really float my boat. But its effect has been diluted somewhat by the increasingly inferior sequels, which just went more and more comedy. But the power that first film had on me, when I do occasionally, I don't watch it often now, when I do put it on, that impact still hits me again. It just doesn't last as long, but for what it meant a lot to me at the time, Anyway, won't go into all that. Lethal Weapon was truly awesome. The Warriors, oh, come on. Anyone who's been part of a gang, and I don't mean a nasty gang, I was part of the mob movement. I've been in various different, let's just call them groups of people, but if you hang around the street, then you're a gang. And if you all look similar, you're a gang. But I love the book, Sol Ulrich's book that the film is based on. I love Walter Hill's idea about this. He's based it on not a true story of a Greek patrol stuck thousands of miles from the coast, and they've got to make it through Persian hordes to get to safety. That didn't happen. I don't know where he gets that myth from, but anyway. But he bases the Warriors on that. And the banter and camaraderie between the Warriors themselves, the various other gangs they encounter, the baseball furies. It's exciting, it's funny, it's also quite darkly macabre as well. This could be on the streets, it wouldn't take much, for the gangs to take over. But I love the Warriors. Great soundtrack as well. Of course, The Thing from Another World, Christian Nyby directed, Howard Hawks, methinks. One of the best creature features going, and the basis of John Carpenter's The Thing. although John Carpenter went back and based it on the original novella by John W. Campbell. Stop me, you've heard of this before, called Who Goes There. But the original thing where they just took the idea of like people, scientists and military people trapped somewhere in a snowy waste, because in this film it's the North Pole, not Antarctica, and the alien is just big hulking James Arness from them, and in like a sub Boris Karloff Frankenstein makeup and a space jumpsuit, causing havoc at this isolated base. Soundtrack is amazing. The overlapping dialogue is just to die for. The suspense, it's just... The suspense of waiting to gulp that, my God. I'm never tired of it. It's a film that I can watch and then immediately watch it again. And then again, and then again. Forbidden Planet. Another, Silver Age, classic sci-fi extravaganza. Epic, clever design. A totally believable and yet hyper-stylized alien world of high colours, Robbie the Robot, this idyllic paradise, betrayed by the inner id. The demon always comes from within. It's always us that go and fuck it all up, But great stuff. And oh God, what's her name? Anne Francis is adorable in that. Absolutely so gorgeous. And the monster from the id, the Krell demon, the way he looks like some kind of like, neon lit, laser outlined pit bull. Fucking awesome. Leslie Nielsen playing a rare straight role, and yet he's all the funnier because he's playing it straight, delivering some crazily bad lines where he's in love with Walter Pidgeon's daughter, Altera, and he says, "Doc, can you help me here? I'm in over my head." He's like, "Oh, fuck off," But genius, love it. And here's another one which everyone would have assumed I would have had in the top 10, and up until a few years ago, it would have been Gladiator. I adore Gladiator. It is. It's a massively flawed film. If you actually watch it critically, it's quite poor, I'll be honest, but it doesn't matter. The visuals, the spectacle, the emotional ride, the battles, and Maximus. Russell Crowe, has never been better. He's not been better than that. He anchors it with a raw primal rage. And he's never looked better than he did, in a toga. Look at him now; he's like a big fucking, overweight, saggy-titted grizzly bear. Loving you, looking forward to Unhinged, by the way. That looks great. Cheers, Russ. How long have we got on this? Oh, we've still got a while yet. Oh, but I'm on the last one, and for this, we're going to venture back to John Carpenter. I mean, I could populate a top 10 with just John Carpenter movies because he is my favourite director, and so many of his things I could just watch and watch and watch. Well, I have done. But what would it be? What do you reckon it is? Is it Halloween? No. I saw some Precinct 13? No. Big Trouble in Little China? Shit, it should be. But it isn't. It's The Fog. The Fog. A simple ghost story, but told with such atmosphere and such a sense of place. You feel that you are in Antonio Bay. You feel for poor Adrienne Barbeau, Stevie Wayne, up in, isolated and stuck in that lighthouse. She can't get to her son. These deep sea marauders who come back from a watery grave, looming out of the fog, are laying siege to her lighthouse. She's got to fight to the death. And that luminous fog that moves against the wind and comes in and encircles the town on its centenary. Love it. It's not a great film. It's not. This is the thing. I can pick fault. We all can. In anything. Except for The Thing. I can't pick fault in that. Or The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. Or Jaws. But the Fog, again, what I'm saying is that these are films I don't want to live without. Even if no other films existed, all these films I've just described here would be enough for me to exist and get by. I could watch them all and all and all over and over and over again ad infinitum and never get tired, never get bored of them. And the thing is, there's other films I could add to this list. I could do another 40 if need be. But we'd be here all day, goddammit. So there you go. The main top 10, let's run through again. The main top 10. The Thing, Escape from New York, Mad Max 2, Jaws, Suspiria, Predator, Dawn of the Dead, First Blood, The Dark Knight, The Good, The Bad and The Ugly. A nice range of genres there. What you may notice is there's no comedies. I do love comedies, but I mean, my favourites would be Young Frankenstein. It's a freaking horror movie as well. But, you know, I love comedies, but they're not they're not my go-to genre at all. A new comedy comes out, I'm the last person to see it. It's the classics, Pink Panther movies, you know, Airplane, you know, that's that sort of thing, that Stir Crazy. Those Marx Brothers, they're the things that make me laugh and guffaw. New things, if I actually sat down and watched them, I probably would get into them, but they're not my thing. Anyway, the second list: The Wolfman, King Kong 76, Sword and the Sorcerer, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Lethal Weapon, The Warriors, The Thing from Another World, Forbidden Planet, Gladiator, and The Fog. There you go, Joe. That one was pretty much for you. Nicely accompanied by Richard Band and his synthesizer and threadbare orchestra for Reanimator. Oh, I've just thought. Reanimator, Evil Dead 2. Why didn't I put Evil Dead 2 in there? Oh no. See, this is it. This is exactly it. Why didn't I put The Hills of Eyes in there or Nightmare on Elm Street? You see, you're on a hiding to nothing when you come to do these lists. So, guys, there's my top 10, 20. What's yours? Please do comment below and do let us all know. Please, I'm genuinely interested. And, you know, try to think of it as films that you can't live without. That's the thrust of this. Not like, just don't pick the best. Oh, what the critics always say, the best films. What are the best films for you personally? And I want them to be with an emotional connection to you. You know, they haven't got to be great films. It could be a complete, you know, turd fest, CGI ridden, you know, pile of tripe to everybody else. But if it means something to you and it floats your boat and you enjoy the hell out of it and you really don't want to be without it, I would never, you know, diss that, because that's up to you. It's a personal thing. Anyway, folks, please do let me know. And also, whilst you're letting me know, stay safe, stay happy, keep it safe, keep it kilted, keep it Celtic. I almost forgot the own tagline there. And I'm going to see you all. Top 10s, lists. Sounds too much like work to me.